What's up, YouTube? So, me and Kyrie are still outside, but I figured I could talk about how I met Kyrie's dad and basically, you know, how we got together and how it all came about. So, in the beginning, um, I was just out of prison and I just started working at KFC Taco Bell and going to some NA meetings. And it was all right, but you know, I was just not really digging it and anything. I just wanted to be with Mike. I just wanted to be downstate with Mike, and I didn't want anybody to try and stop that. So, um, one day, oh, let's see. Yep, that's right. So I went to rehab. I went to Munson out of prison um, because I started using again, and it was a good idea for me to go to rehab. It was only 18 days, but when I got out, I was going to these meetings, and one day in walks Mike, and I'm thinking he looks pretty cool. He's got piercing, his tongue's pierced, his lips pierced. He looks pretty sharp, he's got a little goatee thing around it, and I mean he was very handsome. And I was, kind of, he said a lot of really good things. He was really spiritual. He had a nice smile. He had no urges. He had it all together. He had his stuff together. But me, I was so hateful. Oh, Kyrie. I was really hateful, I just kept going to meetings, crying, talking about how I just want to be downstate in Detroit. I just want to be with Mike. I didn't really want to be up here. I was miserable. Every day was horrible. I was just, and I was, I'm really keeping it PG because my baby's out here, but I was a real jerk. Okay, so, and all those people there, they were really helpful and supportive, even though I was basically just giving a big F you to their faces. And so eventually I ended up doing it. I ended up going downstate, relapse with Mike. I was super happy to see him. Of course, it was the same, blah, blah, blah bullshit that was always happening with him. And then I got robbed. All that crazy stuff happened. So it showed me that obviously being downstate was not for me. But then I came back up here and I went to rehab, and my mom still continued to go to those meetings the whole time that I was in rehab for 30 days. And I got out. I didn't have my job anymore because I no call no show to go downstate, and I kept calling and making excuses for why I wasn't going to be there, and they didn't want me to work there anymore. So, whatever. It was a crappy job anyways. The only thing that was good about it was the free food. But the manager was a jerk, and I wasn't fast enough. Because of my stroke, I was not fast enough on the taco line. So they had me back in the bag doing a bunch of, peon crap. Anyway, so I've started immersing myself in these meetings, and this Mike up here, we started calling him Mike 2.0, Mike 4.0, because he was the better version of Mike since not the one downstate. And he was always offering us to take us rides, take us to meetings. He would meet us at Walmart and then drive us out to Hale, which is pretty far distance. He would bring me home if I stayed later at the meetings. My mom wanted to leave. If I wanted to have any kind of fellowship afterwards, he would stay and he would, take me home. And he was a nice guy. I was still in a relationship with Mike. I was still actually engaged to Mike. Okay, so Mike was like toxic to me. And somebody had said that they thought he was like a drug to me, which is so funny because that's exactly what he was. And I had said that before in rehab, that my ex-boyfriend, Michael Kujat, was just as much heroin to me as the heroin was. And so it was just not healthy, but I still maintained that we were together. Even when I finally told Mike, okay, so one night we had a Hale meeting, and we drove to Walmart to meet up with Mike, and he gave me and my mom a ride out to the Hale meeting, and then afterwards we went back to our vehicle at Walmart, and he asked me if I want to go out to eat, and I mean, I was so rude to these people. That's what I'm telling you. I was so rude to them. I mean, I was just, I was a straight up bitch. Okay. So, it was just terrible. And he still wanted to, get to know me more besides outside of the meeting. So we went to a Chinese buffet, and he got ribs. So that should have told me something right there. But no, I'm just joking. But so it was nice. We had dinner, and then we drove around and listened to music, and then he brought me home. And then the next meeting night we did, that was actually our first date. I think we kissed that night, and it was nice. It wasn't like, it was really nice. It was. I felt giddy about it. I was really happy and excited. I was like, this new thing, even though I was really always brought down by my ex, Mike, downstate. He always, every time I talked to him, I would just feel so terrible inside, just so bad. And this Mike up here was like a really positive, light in my darkness, and he was there for me even when I didn't want to be there for myself. And oh no, Kyrie's sat down on the ground. You want to sit up off the ground, Kyrie? Oh, here, Mama will take this here so that you can push it around. Oh no, you got dirt on your hand. Okay, there you go. You want to push that? So anyways, he was such a good guy. And so we didn't actually say that we were officially dating because I was still, with my ex. But we do, go back and we consider that Chinese buffet our first date. And it was nice. And I would talk to him on the phone, and I would be like, oh, like, ha, 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 oh my gosh, oh, like a little schoolgirl or something, even though, he was significantly older, and I was still really fresh in my recovery. What, you got something on your hand again? There's nothing. Beautiful. So anyways, we started dating. And it was really good. I felt really bad because on St. Patrick's Day, the first year we were together, this is 2017. We had been started dating since January in 2017, even though I was still technically engaged to the other Mike. And on St. Patrick's Day was going to be the first night that me and this Mike up here were going to be able to spend the night together. We'd actually, all the time we'd always be only able to hang out in his vehicle, and we could never really have any like quality alone time except for sitting in his truck, and that was fine or whatever. But what happened, cutie? So we were gonna be able, my mom cleaned up her house, I helped straighten it up and everything and get it all nice. And my mom was coming to stay down here at my grandma's house, and we were all ready to do this. And we went to the bar, which I don't drink really. So we were just going there basically just for, St. Patrick's Day socialization. And I have a lot of friends in Ascota. So, and while we're there, I get a phone call. And it just so happens to be my ex, Mike downstate, who's not my ex at this time. And he wants to talk to me, and I'm telling him, well, I'm here with Mike. And he's like, oh, well, don't you miss me? And I'm like, yeah, I do miss you. Or no, I said, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, I want it. And I'm like, but I do. And he's like, I want to hear you say it. So I'm like, okay. And now Mike is sitting next to me in the truck next to me, and I say, okay, I miss you. And so now Mike has perked up his ears and everything. And then, a couple more minutes go on, and my ex Mike says to me, I love you. Do you love me? And I'm like, I do. You know that I do so much. And he's like, then tell me you love me. Tell me you love me. And I'm like, I said, well, I love you, And instantly I could feel like a wall just shut between me and Mike. Just like done. Like he didn't want anything. He didn't even, when we got back to my mom's house, he was super in a bad mood. He didn't really want anything. He didn't want to talk to me. Nothing. He was just really salty the whole rest of the evening. And that happened, that tended to happen whenever I would talk to the other Mike. It would just ruin things between me and the Mike up here. And it was really sucking because Mike up here was so this positive influence on my life, and Mike down there was just toxic, like I said. So you want me to open that for you? Come here. So yeah, so anyways, we eventually ended up moving in together at Blue Horizon, and things were good. Then we got pulled over with weed, and that sucked. So I got put on probation, and we were still living together. And then on the day that I went to court, they sentenced me to jail. And when I went into the jail, they piss tested me and told me I was positive for pregnancy. And so I was calling all the people with my recorded message like, hi, it's Jessi, I'm pregnant. And when he finally answered, he was so happy. He couldn't even believe how, he's like, did I really hear what I think I just heard? And I said, yeah, that I'm pregnant. And he was just overjoyed. And so that's how it went. And here you go. Here, Kyrie. Kyrie, here. There you go. You're welcome. So yeah, during my pregnancy, I seen a little bit of a different side of him, where he was really aggressive to Muddy, and he was aggressive. He would like he had to wake up early one day, and he was slamming his phone on the bed because he couldn't get the alarm to shut off. And I'm laying right next to him, pregnant, and it's just like, this is just crazy. And, I had a lot of concerns about it. Because in the beginning, he seemed like this straight, down-to-earth guy, got it all together, got it all figured out. But now it's like, oh, you're as cool as a cucumber, huh, guy? Like, you got a lot of issues that you just don't talk about. And that's what we've had to deal with now, is that, he likes to keep things in. And then, I keep things in. And when I keep them in, I blow up, either usually on myself. When he keeps things in, he just shoves it down, and he takes that in little passive aggressive ways. So, but don't let me turn you off Mike, because he is a great guy. He's working hard to be able to make a house for me and our daughter. He wants to be a family together. He doesn't want to have to, depend on anybody else. He wants to, have, the sun is really in my eyes. He wants to have a good life, and he just feels like he's not, living up to the standards of a man who's supposed to be taking care of his family. And that's really the biggest issue that we have, that's caused a lot of fights for us, because he doesn't really know how to express how he feels, because he doesn't talk about anything. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know that I basically went from the beginning. I was really rude. He still was trying to pursue me. I finally gave him a chance, and look what we have. This little beauty. That's what we got out of it. So it turned out to be the most amazing thing, even though Mike passed away while me and Mike were at the hospital. I have to think about these things, but I know that whether I feel like this man up here is who I'm supposed to be with, I wanted to marry him before I had the baby. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't, but no matter what I feel, that little girl is the most best thing I could have ever gotten out of any relationship I've ever been in. And so I would never trade it for the world. I no matter what mine and Mike's problems are, whatever our issues are, when it comes down to our daughter, that's it. We're connected. And we'll always be connected because of her, no matter what, even if we don't ever get married. I do want to marry him. He gave me this ring as like a I'm gonna get you an actual engagement ring, but this was, back in 2018 when he bought this for me, and before I was even pregnant. It was for Valentine's Day in 2018. But anyway, so guys, I hope you enjoy my story time. No cuss words because the baby. I can do that. I can manage. Sometimes it's hard, but around her, it's possible because she's just wonderful, and I don't want her to ever say those words. So that's why I manage my language around my beautiful baby. And Mike needs to get with that too because he slips up all the time. He comes in the house and he wants to see her, and I don't know, he just doesn't act like she's a baby. But now I'm about to go inside because it's a little bit chilly out here, even though the sun is shining. We got our vitamin D for the day, and I will see all of you guys later.